Good afternoon. We've almost made it. So I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Please stand up for a moment. So sort of get the blood flowing a little bit. And while you're up, I'd like you to give yourselves a round of applause for reaching this point and beginning your graduate program. So I'm batting cleanup. You can keep standing or sit whenever you want. And I'm going to cover a lot of miscellaneous information. The good news is I'm going to give you a resource for everything that I cover. So two things you should know. Number one, every presentation that you've seen today will be posted to the Graduate School's website probably no later than Monday, as early as Friday. Takes just a couple of days to get things rolling, but I would suspect by Friday it'll be there for you. Additionally, all of the presentation that I'm going to do comes from a graduate student resource guide that is also on the Graduate School website. So I'm going to cover a lot of topics, but with a minimal amount of detail. You're welcome to come back and talk to me afterwards, and I can give you fill in any information that you may still need, but it will be a very broad brushstroke of all of the different things that are available that you haven't heard about yet. So there's quite a bit more that we get to talk about. The other thing I just want to mention, just for a clarification, early on you heard the acronym RSO was used, terminology RSO. So that's Registered Student Organization. So when Fred was talking about becoming part of a registered student organization, we have over $100,000 dedicated to funding those registered student organizations and the activities they do, whether it's hosting an event on campus and also for providing travel support if you're going to academic conferences. So just wanted to make sure you were aware what that was about. Another thing he made reference to quickly was something called OrgSync. If you go to our Student Life website or just do gvsu.edu/orgsync, O-R-G-S-Y-N-C, that will take you to the place where you can actually join the Graduate Student Association. And you would need to do that in order to become a member of any of the additional registered student organizations. So just wanted to make sure everybody was clear on that. Okay? Everyone doing okay? Hi. All right, we're off. I'm going manual. Okay. So this is the Graduate Student Guidebook I've already referred to. And as I said, virtually everything I'm going to cover is going to be addressed there, and the PowerPoint will be posted as well. A couple of faces to know. President Tom Haas is the president of Grand Valley State University. He's our boss. And Gail Davis is our more direct boss. She's the provost vice president for academic affairs at the university. Both people that you will probably have a good chance of encountering. Often GSA will invite one or both to come to a meeting so you have a chance to interact with them, but they will be at many of the events that will be hosted throughout the next couple of years while you're here. Additionally, you should also get to know your program director. You'll get to know your faculty anyway, but every program, every academic program has a director, a GPD, and those are also important people to know, especially if you're having any kinds of questions related to the academic program. They would be the go-to person. Then additionally, there are academic deans for each of those programs as well. So I've listed the names of the academic deans. The program directors you could look up on our website just by going to your program. Graduate Council is yet another way that students can be directly involved with academic governance at the university. This is part of our faculty governance process, and the graduate students have 2 seats dedicated for sitting on Graduate Council. Now, I get to attend Graduate Council as well, but when I'm there, I get to speak occasionally, I get to listen a lot, but what I don't get to do is to vote on various policies that are going to be moving forward for decision. Those 2 graduate students who are appointed to this committee are able to vote, and their vote counts equal to any of the faculty members on the committee. So a couple of great opportunities. There are a number of other graduate level seats that you heard about, but I wanted to make sure specifically you knew about Graduate Council because that's an important one. Pew Student Services is actually the area that I work in. It's also where the Career Services area is, our Veterans Services, and our Counseling Services. And just so you know, we're actually located directly across the courtyard, so we're in DeVos Center, and it's Building B, but it's basically the same side as the library clock tower, but we're the next building to the south, okay? Rather to the north, get that right. Graduate admissions, well, most of you are here, so you've sort of figured that out. But I do want to just remind you, if anyone is here, especially if you're taking some courses as a graduate student, but haven't yet made a determination about a program, you need information about programs, or you need to know how to apply to become an admitted graduate student in a program, you can certainly talk to folks in the college, or you can talk to Tracy over in graduate admissions, and she can be very, very helpful for you. The Student Assistance Center is actually located in DeVos C building, which again is that area that has the Lakers store and the Starbucks. That becomes sort of the way we identify it. It's where Starbucks is because it's very visible. Student Assistance Center, there's also one in Allendale in the Student Services building, so there are two at the university. And they will take care of anything having to do with the records office, registration, and finances. So everything from transcript requests to making payments, all gets handled through that office, okay? The one exception, I have a notation in case anyone here has served in the military, the GI Bill certification process, all of those folks are actually based in Allendale in the Student Services building. So if you haven't connected with them yet, the phone number is up there, or else you can just look them up on the website. Go to registrar, call the registrar's office, and tell them you need to speak to someone about your GI Bill, and we'll get you squared away that way. Financial aid, also I have the number up there because they don't have a physical presence downtown, but most of the work that they can do, they can assist you directly either electronically or via phone. FAFSA is still it's one of the forms. Dean Pottinger said he had a lot of forms on his website, and he does, but the FAFSA is one of the few that he doesn't have. So just so you know, you'd have to go to the financial aid page to link to the FAFSA if you're applying for any kind of financial aid that way, and that would be for federal loans or scholarships, okay?
And we don't keep it there because it changes. There's so many changes.
Yes.
We want to make sure that financial aid takes care of all that stuff.
Right, good point. There's also a scholarship database, which I've listed there. While the bulk of scholarships are aimed at undergraduate students in terms of the university scholarships, there are numerous opportunities for scholarships from different organizations that will support graduate education. So while you may be here and you may be thinking you didn't qualify for scholarship or didn't find something, I'd encourage you to go to the scholarship site. You can look under fellowships, you can look under graduate, and you'll be able to say, and you can also look under your discipline, because many times it's corporations that are providing the funding for people going into those specific professions. We also have a $500 emergency loan. So if the semester starts going and say 3-4 weeks in, your car breaks down and you need a set of tires, you can actually get a loan from a short-term loan from the financial aid office for up to $500. All you need to do is contact them. They'll talk to you and make sure you have a way to repay, because it is required to be repaid by the end of the semester. And as long as you're able to do that, they will make arrangements to give you that short-term loan. I mention that one because it's a more difficult one to find. It's not publicized in a lot of places. So some of the things I try and talk about are the things you might not otherwise learn about if somebody didn't tell you. Just to be aware, there's a whole series of relatively new financial resources that we've made available. This isn't about how you fund yourself to get through school, but it's really about the financial implications of being a student and after you're a student. So it talks to you about how you're going to deal with loans and what happens with loans after you're finished with school, how much loan debt you might occur, and how you choose to address that. Different fields, obviously, depending on what you might be earning, you may have a different comfort level with loans. My advice would be take what you need, don't take everything that's available to you unless you need it. So I think that's a really good way to go, because if you need it, by all means, it's there for you. But if you feel you can get by and have less money that you're going to have to pay back when you're done with your graduate program, I presume a few of you may have undergraduate loans that you're dealing with as well, which, by the way, can be deferred while you're a graduate student. So something else to keep in mind. Academic support, most of these areas were discussed, but I want to at least mention two very quickly. The first one I want to mention is the speech lab. What we discovered is we had a number of students, and this is not intended just for undergraduates, and it's not intended just for students who are taking a speech class. This was really intended for the understanding that some of us are more or less comfortable getting up here in front of a microphone or in front of a classroom and speaking to other individuals in a public setting. So what they do is they offer a number of tips. They will help you with crafting speeches and organizing what you're going to do. They will also help you with stress reduction techniques. So if you're going to be speaking and that's a little bit terrifying, and for some people it is, they'll help you with some techniques to help you overcome that hurdle. The other one I want to point out is disability support resources. And disability support resources provides a number of accommodations, and if nothing else, I just want you to know that they exist and the kinds of accommodations they have, so you shouldn't discover after the fact, after a semester or 2 semesters, that there was something here you could have taken advantage of if only someone would have told you. So things they will do is testing accommodation, different types of textbook formats, note-taking, and they also have locations downtown as well as in Allendale, as does the Speech Lab, Statistical Consulting Center, and the Meyer Center for Writing and Authors. They all have locations here in the Knowledge Market as well as Allendale, and also in the Center for Health Sciences. We also have counseling services available here. The counseling services I mentioned earlier, they're part of that Career Center group where I'm located in 101B DeVos. But just a few of the services that we offer include personal counseling, crisis intervention, mediation services, and substance recovery services. A lot of students are finding being in college, and especially graduate students or students who are in more competitive programs, that there are times when they just, again, they may need some techniques on how to deal with some of the stressful situations that may be occurring. It may not be about your academics at all. It may be about things that are going on in your personal life or your work life, but knowing there's some folks here that can help you with that and give you some good tips in a safe and confidential way is an important thing to know. We also have a number of inclusion initiatives that are currently underway. First and foremost, we have a Vice President for Inclusion and Equity. His name is Dr. Jesse Bernal. Jesse is overseeing all of the different areas you see, with the exception of the Dean of Students Office and the Veterans Network, but he oversees all of the other areas: LGBT Resource Center, Multicultural Center, Women's Center, and Disability Support Resources. So the university has we're very committed to what we are doing to help students feel welcome and safe at Grand Valley. We know that this has been a trying time for many of our students, not just as students, but also as citizens in the United States. And there are a number of initiatives that will be coming up in upcoming weeks that you'll be hearing about related to that as well. You may also be aware that as a university, we are under regulations from the federal government pertaining to Title IX and the Department of Education's Dear Colleague letter, which requires us to make people aware, to make our students aware of the issues of sexual assault, dating, domestic violence, and sexual harassment on campus, and the process that's available. So what I want to make you aware of today, more than anything, is we have a website. It's gvsu.edu/itsonus, as one word, ITSONUS. There's a little video on It's On Us that sort of speaks to the whole issue of sexual assault on campus. It's a dramatization, and there's a lot of other resources. But we want to make sure that you know that if for any reason you are witness, if you are a victim, survivor, we have a sexual assault advocate on campus. We also have our Inclusion and Equity Office and the Women's Center, who are also prepared to work with any kinds of complaints that we may receive. So just want you to be aware of that. We also do a number of things for military members. We've been recognized by different organizations, publications, as well as the state of Michigan, who awarded us gold certification for our efforts for serving military members. Those are a few of the things that we do. We have a Veterans Lounge in the Kirchhoff Center. Unfortunately, I don't have one here yet. I hope to at some point. A number of the programs that we work with. But first and foremost, let me just tell you that I'm the liaison with the Veterans Network. So if you're a veteran, feel free to contact me or come see me afterwards. I'll give you my card, and we can get the conversation going about the things that are available here at Grand Valley. Student parking, if you have not yet purchased a permit and feel that you're going to need to, I've just included basic information about the cost of parking, as well as how you would go to register for parking. It's an online process, and you would go to the public safety link, click on parking services link, and that will take you directly to where you need to be. Okay? If you're not going to be parking on campus, there are some limited options around the campus, especially after 6 o'clock, where you can find some meters that are not going to be used. But if you're here during the day, street parking is pretty challenging. It's limited, and most streets have meters. If you're up at CHS, the Health Sciences Building, there are very few public parking spaces in the streets. They've even got some streets now that are prohibited from having students parking because some of the residents had complained, and now they've put up signage that actually prevents the non-residents from parking there. So I just want to make you aware of that. We do have bus services that run between this campus as to Allendale and also from here to the Health Sciences Building. And you can also catch a connector that will take you to the rapid bus system. Any of the rapid buses in the area throughout Grand Rapids in the vicinity are free to Grand Valley students by showing your student ID. If you're riding the connector, they typically won't even ask for your ID, but if you are taking any different bus system throughout the city, if you show your ID, that would be for free as well. The exception is on holidays. On holidays, they don't do that. They tie it into days when there are classes. Any questions so far on anything that I've covered? I know I've covered a lot. I've got a bit more to go, but we're getting through nicely. So no questions, I'm going to keep going. Okay. This is just a bus service map. I think I've already talked about the routing. I think it mentioned on here that there's, on the last slide, I think it mentioned there were bike racks as well as handicapper ramps on each bus for those that may have disabilities. The one thing I should mention is number 50 is the route that runs. So if you're looking to get to the connector to either go to Allendale or to Health Sciences, the bus number is number 50, and it'll say connector across the top. And we are actually right now in building E, DeVos E, which is sort of like that horseshoe thing. And if you see the little bus icon just below it, sort of in the center, the bus stop is on Fulton Street, right beneath the expressway there. And you could get the bus there and go in either direction, whether you're going west or east. Okay. Just a few things to know about general safety. We already heard about the emergency contact, where you'll get notifications. What I worry probably most about are people either dealing in bad ways with vehicles or with trains. We have an active set of train tracks right by the DeVos Center ramp, so be aware if you're going out to the ramp, there are some trains that do come by. The other thing I want to let you know is that on Fulton Street, we really encourage you, if you're taking the bus, to walk over to the crosswalk because we're very concerned about crossing in the middle of that roadway underneath the expressway where it's already dark. So we want to make sure that everybody stays safe. And while I'm talking to you, I want to make sure that all of you stay safe. Can you hear me okay, or did I lose it? We're okay. You can register your bike if you're going to be bringing a bike to campus. Another thing that you might want to know is if you are in any kind of emergency situation at any location at Grand Valley, call 911. We'll make sure the right dispatcher is answering the phone. If you're in Allendale, you're going to get Grand Valley Police Department. If you're downtown, you're going to get Grand Rapids Police Department. So either way, you're going to get routed the right way. The other thing I want to make you aware of is the Rave Guardian mobile safety app. You can download that onto your mobile device. And what the Rave Guardian app will do is it actually has a 911 panic button on it. It also has a timer, so you can let somebody know where you're going to be and approximately where you are in the meantime. So it's got some nice features. The police department here has encouraged us to share that information, so I want to do that. The other thing while I'm talking about apps, the Rapid also has an app that I didn't make mention of, which will tell you where all the buses are, and it will show you when the next bus is expected to arrive at the bus stop you're waiting at. Textbook information, most important thing to know, I think, is after the first week of classes, you're not going to be able to get a 100% refund. So what I've outlined here is making sure that if you're going to return a book for any reason, do it during the first week of classes. If you have a class that's only meeting on the weekend, they extend the deadline for 1 week, okay? If you've got something new and you're returning it as new, it's got to be in the same condition with all the pieces that were originally sold to you. So whatever that package included, that's what you have to bring back, okay? And a receipt. Food options include a number of dining plans, but the one I want to make you aware of, especially for those of you who may not be living on campus, because if you are, you've been notified, but if you're living off campus, you can get commuter cards, dining cards, which are basically debit dollar plans, and there's a minimum purchase of $100 to get a plan, and then you can reload for $25 increments. And they're accepted at all kinds of locations around the campuses, both here in Allendale. That includes the Starbucks, as well as the various name brands that we have in Allendale. Unused dollars will not roll over after winter. This is important for you guys to know. So don't put more money on your card than you're going to use this semester, because at the end of this semester, you can't roll it over. Folks who started in the fall were able to roll over to winter. And that's the website on the bottom if you want to get more information about any of the dining locations, the venues, their hours, etc. Now, for those of you who might not be able to get to Allendale to take advantage of fitness opportunities, Grand Valley and the YMCA, the David D. Hunting YMCA, have had a relationship that has been in place now for, well, really since they opened. So I think it was around 2010, 2009. Basically, for $160 a month for an individual, or $160 a semester, individual, or $360 a semester for a family, you can get a membership. It's semester by semester, so it'll end the last day of winter semester. If you'll want to continue at that point, you would go back into the website and you join again for spring, summer, and subsequently for fall. So that's how it works, semester by semester. The nice thing about that, although some people feel like that's maybe a bit of a pain to have to keep doing that, is it allows you to just bounce in and out. So if there's a semester, if you just want to take the advantage of the winter and work out over the next few months while it's pretty cold to go outside, you can do that, and then come spring, summer, and even in the fall, you might choose to do your fitness activities outdoors and not worry about having a membership. It does give you full access to everything that the YMCA has. You also, just by being a student, you have access to the fitness center in Allendale and the things that are available there. Again, both do charge for some ancillary items, but for the most part, general membership would include access to the tracks, the courts, all the aerobic and strengthening equipment, things like that. The joining deadline will be February 1st. So after February 1st, we shut down the website for winter, and it will open again prior to spring, summer, probably sometime middle of March would be my guess. And then here also, we have some other information for you about some of the downtown opportunities that exist. And again, this will all be posted on the website. We'll be sending out a brief survey to you. It shouldn't take you more than, well, probably less than 5, but no more than 10 minutes to complete. And we really ask that you send that to us so we can keep improving this and make your time well spent for the short amount of time that we have you with us. And that's it.